Hello and welcome, I'm Sai. Today we're going to learn to calculate sales tax on the go. More accurately, we're going to learn a quick and easy calculation to closely estimate checkout price without a calculator. The way we'll do this is by rounding up the actual tax percentage to a number that's easy to calculate. For example, 9% will become 10 in our heads, 13 will become 15%, 17% will become 20%, and so on. Before we begin our calculation, it's important to acknowledge that everybody learns and thinks differently, so this method will not work for everyone. That's why I will be making follow-up videos to this video that will tailor the method to different learning styles. Alright, let's get into the calculation now. Okay, so step 1 is to calculate the tax as if it were 10%. If the tax is higher or lower than 10%, we're still going to use the number that we get from doing this step. So the way we're going to calculate our 10% tax is by moving over the decimal point one place to the left. So let's imagine that something costs $99.49. We will move this decimal place over one place to the left. 9.949 is our result. Now let's adjust this to look like a dollar and cent value. So what we're going to do is keep the part to the left of the decimal, the 9, and we're going to remove this last digit. In order to do that, we need to round up our 49 to be a 5. So that gives us 9.95 or $9.95. Okay, let's look at an example where the original price is less than $10. So let's say $7.50. We're going to do the same thing where we move our decimal point one to the left, but that's going to give us a random decimal in the middle of nowhere. So what we can do is add a 0 before. Then we're going to do the same thing as last time where we get rid of our last digit. Since it's a 0, we don't need to round up this 5. We'll just leave it alone. That gives us $0.75 or $0.75. Next, we're going to see what happens if the sale price is just a dollar amount. For example, a $5 snack. What we can do is imagine that it's written out as $5.00. Then we will do the same thing as last time. Move the decimal point over one to the left, giving us 0.500. We can add another 0 at the beginning so that the decimal point's not floating, and then we'll get rid of our last digit. This can be seen as $0.50 or $0.5. It can also be seen as $0.50. Now let's take the 10% tax that we already calculated and add it to the original price. If the math is easy and quick, we'll leave the number as is. If it's a little bit longer, we will round up and then add the numbers together so that they're always easy. Well, let's go backwards. $5 is the original sales price. Our tax is 50 cents, so our final price is $5.50. $7.50 is the original sales price. Our tax is 75 cents. So our final price will be $8.25. Okay, the last one's a little bit more involved, so we'll round everything up. Our initial price is $99.49. Just for ease, let's say $99.50. And our tax is $9.95. Let's just say $10. So $99.50 plus $10 is $109.50. Now, let's see what happens if our tax is actually 13%. What we're going to do is round that up to 15% and calculate that instead. So 15% is just 10% plus 5%. And we've already calculated our 10%. So we just need to work on figuring out 5%. 5 is half of 10, so we can just take our number that we calculated before and divide it by 2. Let's go back to our pink example where the original price was $99.49. We calculated that our 10% tax was $9.95, so we need to figure out what half of that is. What we can do to make it easier is round $9.95 up to 10 again, and then half of 10 is 5. That gives our total tax amount at about $15. We've rounded up here, and we've rounded up here. So our actual tax will be a little bit less than that. But like we said before, we'd rather be pleasantly surprised because our checkout price is lower than expected versus unpleasantly surprised because it's higher than expected. Let's finish off our original example. We said the original price was $99.49, but we were going to round to $99.50. Our rounded tax, 13% rounded up to 15%, gave us $15. $99.50 plus $15 gives us $114.50. Now, this example ended up being a little bit easy because 99 is so close to 100 that our final value was, after rounding, exactly the same as our percentage value. So let's look at one of our other examples where it's a little bit more tricky. Okay, let's figure out what our price would be for our green example of $7.50 if the tax were 13%. So again, we're going to round up to 15% and figure that out accordingly. 15% is 10 plus 5. We already know 10 is 75 cents or 0.75. And 5 is just half of that. So what we can do in this case is round our 75 to 80 because that number can be divided by 2 really easily. So 80 cents or $0.80 plus half of that, 40 cents. That gives us $1.20. So our 13% tax rounded up to 15% for our green example of $7.50 is $1.20. $7.50 plus $1.20 equals $8.70. So this is going to be slightly higher than the actual checkout price because we rounded up the tax from 13% to 15%. However, it will prevent us from accidentally breaking our budget. Now let's look at our last example, our blue example. This time, let's imagine that the tax is 17%. So we will round this up to something that's easier to calculate, 20%. And 20% is just 10% plus 10%. So this one's actually even easier than the last example because we don't even have to divide anything by 2. So our 10% was half a dollar or 50 cents plus half a dollar or 50 cents. That gives us $1. That's super easy because $5 plus $1 just equals $6. And since we rounded up from 17 to 20, we know it won't actually cost $6, but we'd rather overestimate than underestimate. All right, that's it for today. I sincerely hope this video was helpful. If it wasn't, stay tuned for follow-up videos, same topic, but different learning styles. Have a great day. See you next time. Bye.